Good afternoon. I am Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host, and welcome to Artists of Color, an art and cultural program show that comes on usually every second or third Friday in the month. And I cater to artists of all types of mediums. It doesn't matter what type of art you are. That's who I cater to, and especially and most importantly, artists of color. And today, my guest is a young lady that I met at the Roxbury International Film Festival. And we kind of like hit it off very well.
We did.
Her name is Meichelle Varone.
Okay.
Michelle, thank you for being with me today. You and I have been having this great conversation.
Yes, we have.
Thank
you, Miss Elaine.
You are so welcome. I am so glad you're here. You know, we had our little meeting and we had our little talk. But you know, I want you to tell my audience, my lovely TV audience, a little bit about you. Tell me, where are you from? What do you do? What is your background?
Well, I'm originally born and raised in Dorchester. I've lived in a number of places throughout the city. You know, Cambridge, Jamaica Plain, Roxbury, all over the place.
You sound like somebody else I know.
Randolph, I've loved it. All really great communities. And yeah, I started writing at a very young age. I actually won one of Mayor Menino's writing awards when I was still in school.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, I mean, that mayor, I think he did a lot for Boston as a whole.
I agree, even if I wanted to.
It's a tough road, right? It's a tough road.
But no, you know, he was a good man.
Yeah.
He was a good man, he really was.
I think so.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I started out writing. And, you know, as I got older and progressed, is something that I definitely stayed with. And I added the acting and also, you know, singing and everything else on after that.
When did you start writing?
I was writing raps, I think, when I was like in 5th grade.
No, she was writing raps. We're in trouble now.
And I was like, we would do them at the, I went to the Fifield School.
Yes, I know that school.
And we would have the talent shows, and I would like get on stage and rap my rap with the boys. I was like the only girl sometimes. It's a lot of fun, though. Yeah.
See, that's nice. Were your raps, were they fun?
They were fun.
Were they funny?
They were funny.
They were funny. Okay. See, now I like raps like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you continuously still write raps today?
I mean, sometimes one pops into my head and I'll like write it down for the sake of writing it. But, you know, I do sing a lot more than I rap.
Oh, that's a great thing. And we will be hearing from Miss Michelle a little later, almost close to the end of the show. She's going to do a selection for us. So everybody stay tuned and be looking for that. So tell me, you do a lot of different things. You sing.
I do.
You're getting ready to, we'll talk about this a little later. You're working on your very first book.
I am.
Okay. And you act.
I do.
And it was very funny, the part about you acting, I was looking at your website, and you know what I realized?
What is it?
That I had seen you in a play.
Oh, was it which play was it? Was it The Footlight?
It was here in Boston.
Okay, so the Footlight Theater in Jamaica Plain.
No, maybe that I'm thinking of the wrong one. Did you do a play at Hibernian Hall?
I may have. I can't remember. I think so.
And it was written by Jackie Parker.
I don't, you know, honestly, I don't quite remember.
That
I believe so.
The picture is you there.
Okay, then yes, that was me there.
There she is.
Yes, indeed.
So I have seen her before Roxbury International Film Festival. I saw you in a play that Jackie Parker happens to also be a very old
wonderful.
And good friend of mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hang out every now and then. But she's an amazing writer, director, and actress.
Yes, it's always amazing when you get to work with a really good director.
That's true.
I appreciate the roles that I've been given. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to remember exactly because it's been so long. Like I studied acting way back in 2003. I first started taking on classes at Roxbury Community College.
Really?
I
didn't
think
even
even
know they did
before
acting
then.
classes there.
Oh, they did, and they had some of the best like acting instructors that
Are you
in
serious?
Boston.
Now that's something new. I had no idea.
Yeah, a lot of the teachers there. So Roxbury Community College, a lot of the teachers that teach there
Yes.
also double at schools like Northeastern.
Yes,
or,
they do.
Right.
Or
So
Springfield College.
Right.
There is a professor at Roxbury Community College. He was my professor at Springfield College School of Human Services
yes.
in organizational management.
Wonderful.
So he was one of my professors. Yeah, he was great. He used to give me a fit.
I used to give
give
my teachers
everybody
a
a
run for the
fit.
money too.
But this was his
I love him.
full-time, this was his, RCC was his full-time, because he only did Springfield 4 times a month.
Well, it's far
On the
away.
weekends.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little further away. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that opportunity because we were blessed to have these really great professors. And, they would come in and teach us the world. And I'm very thankful for that.
Well, see, I'm glad. That is something, you're giving me a little information that I never knew before.
Well,
I mean, I knew a little bit of things about RCC, and I know they've gone through a lot of changes. And I don't know what the state of mind of the of the college is at the moment, but yeah, I've been hearing different things.
I'm very blessed that they are there.
Oh, I'm blessed that they're there too, because other colleges, some other communities have had small universities. Roxbury's never had one. And then all of a sudden along comes Roxbury Community College. Now, I remember when Roxbury Community College was not where it is today. It used to be over on Blue Hill Avenue and Magazine Street
Oh,
in
wonderful.
Roxbury on the other side.
Yes.
And when I watched them as they constructed that campus and turned it into a campus.
And isn't it beautiful?
Oh, I love it. And now they're redoing it again,
Right.
which is great. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what the finished product is going to be.
I just love, so we're speaking about teachers.
Yes.
I do want to thank Tay Diggs for sticking up
Oh,
for teachers.
yes.
Because what he did was phenomenal. I read an article of his.
Okay.
And I've been meaning to go shopping at Burlington Coat Factory
Oh,
so I
yes.
can make my donation.
Yeah, absolutely. Now,
but-
what is going on? Now, I want you to tell me. You said he's been sticking up for the teachers. Where is this? Across the country, or is this
I think,
in a certain area?
well, how much time do we have? No.
Well, you know how much time we got now.
I think, so the average teacher, I used to do a little teaching way back in the day, but the average teacher, it really surprised me because a lot of them are taking from their own funds to pay for like school supplies.
Right.
And we trust our children, which is
Children.
like our best asset.
That's true.
Right? Like after you build this kingdom and after you make all this money, you have a child, and that child's obligation is to carry on your empire.
Yeah, that's very true.
And we, send all of our children to teachers every day.
Every day, 5 days a week, almost 8 hours a day. That's true.
Right. So for teachers to not make enough money or be,
Or not have the supplies that they need
exactly.
in order to teach our children. I agree with you.
Right.
That's true.
But he
So-
stuck up for him, so I was happy about that.
Oh yeah, I like Ty Diggs. He's a cool dude.
Yes,
he
he
really is. He really is. My son likes him too as an actor. He said, Ty Diggs, Mom. I said, okay, yeah, what?
Yes.
You want me to know now? but you, let's talk about your singing career.
All right.
Tell me how you got started.
So this is going to sound weird, but I am always writing.
Right. Yes, you are.
So there's times when I'm like trying to sleep at night and a tune will come into my head.
Oh gosh, it sounds like me. Go ahead.
And I literally have to wake up out of my sleep and get
Yeah.
this song out,
So do you keep a microphone and a recorder by your bed?
I used to until one day, I lost that recorder. So now I keep a book. I keep a writing book right by my
By
bed.
your bed.
And I
Very
leave
good.
it there.
Yes.
So-
I think I've got 3 of them.
right.
So I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, I just I started by, you know, I dream a lot of the songs, and the song will come through my dream. I don't know if it's something I eat or what, but I have these crazy dreams.
Whatever she's eating, let's let her keep eating.
I have these crazy dreams, and very often there's a song that pops right into my head towards the end of the dream, and
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I have to wake myself up and get it
And get it down. Wow, that's interesting. But yeah, yep, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to be able to wake myself up. I'm gonna write this down right now. Hey, I think it's great.
My mother would call it something other than interesting.
I'm sure she would. Mothers always change, you know, they got something else to read. There's a reason for why you do what you do, and they have their own reason, and that's what they call it.
Well,
I know.
I'm just very thankful for the parents I have because they're both very, you know, my father is straight from Antigua.
Yes.
He's full
Let's talk
Antiguan.
about your lineage.
And my mother is from the South, West Virginia, Country Road.
Oh, goodness. Country Road, West Virginia. See what I'm saying?
Yes. And my mother was always very supportive. You know, I would wake her up at like, sometimes this is going to sound
you
weird.
didn't.
Yes, I would. she never once like discouraged my creativity. She always was very embracive of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think I woke her up one night and I was like having this crazy dream, and she was just very, very
Woke
supportive
your mother
of
up
it.
out of sound sleep. Well, that's okay. That sounds like me. I would never go into my mother's room and wake her up.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't sleep at night, so I'd be up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'd have this little stool,
Mm-hmm.
and we had this night light in the hallway,
Oh, yes.
because Mom always kept a night light on for us when we had to go to the bathroom or whatever. And I'd take the stool and go sit in the hallway. Well, my mother is very intuitive. She'd hear me, Elaine, I know you're in the hall. Answer me. Yeah, Ma. All right, come on in here.
That's wonderful.
Why are you in the hall? Because I can't sleep. But you know, it's interesting because we're having this little conversation. We're talking about, you know, intuitiveness of parents.
Yes, indeed.
And especially mothers.
Right. My grandmother would stay up even when I was older, teenage, you know, thought I knew everything.
Thank you very much.
My grandmother would stay up until I got home.
Got home.
And, you know, it did two things. A, it let me know that somebody was on the other side of that door caring about me.
That's right.
And B, it made sure I got my
But
behind home on time.
Get your butt in his house, okay? Yeah. And it's interesting because it's family, it's got that connection,
Yeah,
and the females in the family.
right.
You know, it's always the females in
Nurturing.
the family.
But we need the males as well.
Oh,
Because,
I agree.
you know, when daddy puts his foot down,
He ain't playing.
that's it.
He ain't playing.
That's it.
I hear you. You know? But let's, you know, I want to get back to, we were talking about your singing, and then when you went off to Mom and waking Mom up in the middle of the night because you had a dream, and Mom said, okay,
Yes.
what now? I'm sure that's what she said. What now? So, when did you start singing?
Oh, I believed, so it's all a process. Like you grow up
yeah, it
thinking you
is.
can't do something. I was always attracted to singing. And then you are sometimes deterred by what you think other people think about you.
Thank you.
So you may put off something that you love because, you know, when you try, someone might discourage you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I agree.
That's the power of discouragement. But
That's true.
the important part is to try again.
And again.
And that's the power of will. That's willpower.
Yes, it is.
So I believe, you know, even when I was a kid, I used to, you know, love singing and love listening to these wonderful singers. I thought Tina Turner was
It's
like
amazing.
the best thing since sliced bread.
Well, since I was into jazz as a child, I'm sorry, but I'm a Nancy Wilson fan.
Oh, I love her too.
I was raised on her.
Nice.
I was trained on her music.
Wonderful.
I love that woman. She's gone now.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Last year,
sometimes he
last
wants
December.
his angels back.
I know he does. He said, look, y'all been down there long enough. Get back up here.
Come on, back up.
You know, so I need you up here. But yes. So we're talking about you singing and how long you've been doing this and when you started. So actually when, you know, like you knew it was part of you.
I knew it was part of me when I started going to, so this is maybe, you know, within the last, I want to say 7 years.
Oh, okay.
I knew it was part of me when I started having these crazy dreams, which has been happening since I was a child.
Oh, see what I'm saying?
But when people started to endorse me and encourage me in it, I remember the first time I was singing with a choir, because I used to live in Cambridge as well, and they have an amazing, I heard this choir and they sounded like sweet angels to me, and I was like, I have to be a part of that. And then they were so welcoming, they invited me into the choir.
Nice.
And I, you know, really felt like I belonged there.
Okay.
And they were so embracive and so fantastic that, you know, I just felt like I had found family.
There you go.
And I think that's when I knew. And then later on, like the endorsement came where people would say, oh my gosh, you have such a wonderful voice. And that just like, I knew when I had the family, but then the endorsement came. And then I was like, okay, I can do this.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and that's important. What now besides, because we all know, we all know, we talked about you doing gospel music, so we know you do that.
I do.
What other types of forms of music do you
I do
like
everything.
to sing? What do you love?
I love everything. I've written rock and roll songs that I'd love to sell someday.
Rock and roll?
Yes.
Okay.
I do a lot of R&B, a lot of
Okay.
alternative. I do a lot of jazz. You know, it's a full spectrum with me. I have written like everything.
But these are songs that you've written.
They are, indeed.
Have you put them to
I
music?
have. So I have musicians that I work with, but that was one of the major obstacles. One of the major obstacles was, you know, finding a team.
Yeah.
A solid team.
Oh, absolutely.
That you work well with, you know, and that you can depend on.
See?
And those are, you know, that takes time.
I'm going to bring you down to my favorite place. Yeah. I have friends. The new owner of Daryl's is a good friend of mine. She used to work here at B&N.
And I've been hearing a lot of great things about her.
She is an
I have
amazing
heard a
woman.
lot of great things.
She is an amazing young woman.
Yes.
She really is. There are friends of mine who perform there sometimes once a month, sometimes twice a month.
Nice.
And I've known them for years. One of my favorite, my dear loved one, I don't know what I'm going to do with her, Valerie Stevens. Ever heard that name?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's my girl. We've known each other for 23 years.
Wonderful.
And she performs down there, sometimes once or twice a month. She always does the brunch, and every now and then she does a Thursday night show. Nice. But most of the time she does a brunch.
Yeah.
And the reason I said I wanted to bring you is she's always looking for talent.
I would love to go.
I can introduce you, and she'll put you right out there, front and center.
I'm ready.
And don't be surprised. I'm telling you now before you get there, because that's what she does.
All right.
You know.
All right.
And her band, they're great guys. They're amazing.
Yes.
They're very amazing.
Okay.
So see, we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna do that.
All right.
Absolutely. So tell me, we're talking about music.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. And you write, and you've put writing your music, your words to music. Have you tried just doing a plain old off-the-wall recording of your music?
I have, but I do not have an engineer's license, so now I feel like everything comes to you in the right time.
Yes.
And Miles Robinson, who will be joining us later on
in a
the
little
show,
bit? Yes.
he is wonderful and amazing.
Okay.
And you know, he is like the missing puzzle to that part because I've tried doing it on my own. It just
yeah, I know that can be a little
does
difficult.
not sound the way
It
it
can be a
should.
little difficult.
Right. And the only way you master all of this, so you can spend your time trying to gain all the skills by yourself.
Yes, you can.
Or if you have a team that brings multiple skills together, then it's that much easier. And I especially feel that way when it comes to someone who's like working and writing and doing all of these different roles.
Basically does all the roles that you need.
Right.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's like that too. Plays almost every instrument. And
wonderful.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he works with my girl Valerie.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, does a little of everything.
That sounds like my uncle. He's a carpenter. He does electric, plumbing, everything. I'm like,
so is it my friend? He's a carpenter too.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, that's interesting.
I think carpentry is an art, though. I think it's a
I'm putting my daughter out there. She's a carpenter.
Ah.
She's a carpenter. She's a health and fitness coach. She's a yoga instructor. And she sings.
I need her phone number because, you know, the health and fitness part, I could be a little better on that.
So, I mean, wait till I let her see this show. You putting me out there? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't tell people who you were.
Does she also lead a kickboxing class?
I don't think so yet, but you never know with her.
I'm there.
You never know with there. Yes.
So yeah, I just think that's great that she does all of that, and it's very important.
So your team, well, you have Miles who's with us today.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was listening to you. I was listening while they were practicing, which was kind of great. I like that. But then when you're not, when your phone doesn't act right, I wanted to put while you were practicing, I wanted to put it out on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I can't get a signal in here.
Well, that's all right.
I'll figure it out, though.
We can practice any day you want us to.
Oh, well, thank you.
We'll be happy to come back.
Where do you usually practice?
We have a number of different locations.
Oh, well, then that's good then.
Yeah.
That means I get to find you.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'll tell you, we are going to take a break.
All right.
And then we'll be back, and we'll be doing many, many things, and we'll be talking more, because there's the book.
Yes, ma'am.
So, wanting my audience to know, I am Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host. You have been watching Artists of Color, and my guest, Michele Varone, and we will be back with you shortly. And don't forget, at the end of the show, she's going to be doing a selection.
Indeed.
You can prevent.
And welcome to Artists of Color. I am your host, Elaine Hall-Corbin. Thank you for staying with us this afternoon. I am so very happy. And of course, you know, I have my amazing artist here today, Michele Varone.
Thank you for
who is not only an artist, she's I want to say she's a musician, but she's not. Besides being an artist, she's a vocalist, she does voiceovers, and she's an author. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Your book. Let's talk about this book. What made you, first of all, what made you decide to write a book?
So, okay, originally I went to a speaking engagement, and I said, okay, I've written, you know, I wrote a children's book before. I never published it.
You did?
I did. And that book specifically teaches them how to learn their colors in a very strategic way, because I'm all about strategy. So
I figured that.
So I went and I thought, okay, I just want to give speeches. I just want to, you know, give a speech every now and again, because I heard this like rhetoric that was coming out, and it was very, I don't know how to say it. It was very not me.
Okay.
Right?
Well, there you go.
So I said, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to give some speeches. And then I just kept writing, and these speeches got longer and longer.
And longer.
And I would go back and say, oh, well, I forgot to touch on that. And before I knew it, I had like all these topics. These are just like topic after topic after topic. And I was like, okay, this is too much for a speaking engagement.
See what I mean?
This has to be a book.
Book.
And I felt like God was just pouring it into me once I started writing. Like he was just oh, you want
Yeah,
to write? Here
forgot
you
that
go.
here,
You
write
forgot.
this.
Boom,
No,
and we're
and
going to
don't forget
swipe
this
that
and
right
talk
in
about
there.
that.
And don't forget about that.
There you go. Don't forget. You forgot that little piece
Did
there.
you do that
Do that
yet?
over there. Did you do that? Wow.
So before I knew it, I had all of, like, the outline was like 3 pages long.
Whoa.
And I was like, this is too much for a speech.
There you
So
go.
I told myself, okay, I'm going to write a book. And, you know, I honestly feel like a lot of, I know there are African American women who are talented and men who are talented and who, you know, have all this creative juices.
Juices going through them.
Yes. But it's very difficult to find the time
Yes,
to
it
do
is.
it, right?
Yes,
So,
it is.
you know, you're working, you're doing this,
You're
you're doing that, you know,
There are
duty
many
calls.
facets to what, you know, what the human body and the mind does.
Right. So I felt like, when are you going to find time for this, you know? But, you know, the writing just kept coming. So
She
I
kept
didn't have a
writing.
choice.
The writing kept coming, and she kept writing.
Yes. So, so the book deals predominantly, so I am a believer in good versus evil. I don't think there's one particular race that's bad or one particular person that's bad.
Okay.
I think every race has people who are good and people who are bad. And I feel like sometimes evil will hide behind race. You know, say,
Okay.
oh, these people did that because they're this. And that is not specifically true. So this book touches on that in a number of different ways. You know,
Oh,
I
okay.
want to title it The Truth About the Divide. I saw that movie. The Divide. Yes.
I've heard of it, and I saw bits and pieces of it when they were advertising it, but I never saw it.
It's quite a movie
Okay.
when you begin watching it.
Oh.
I'm not going to spoil it for
Don't
you,
spoil
but
it.
it's quite a movie.
The Divide. Okay.
But I really like the tone of that title. Now we'll see. Like, you know, I don't have the final word. The publisher has the final word. Whoever publishes it. Hint, hint. I'm looking for a publisher.
Let me tell you about hint, self-publish.
Well, that's an option too.
You know,
But
self-publish.
it'd be nice
Make
to have
sure
a
you
team.
get. There you go. Make sure you get a good editor.
Yeah.
You know, to edit. Make sure you're basically there with that editor as they edit, because you don't
Well,
want to
I'm
lose
all
any people.
about review.
There you, okay, there you
So
go.
after that, baby, you know, I need the copy, and then I need to
Yeah,
review
you
the
need-
copy.
That's right. Review the edits.
I need a beach and a book.
A beach and a book.
So,
I like that. A beach and a book.
hey, that's
Hey, I
that's
guess
the
that'll
way.
work for you, won't it?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, the book touches on a number of different things. You know, it touches on the fight between men and women. You
Okay.
know, it touches on the fight between races.
Okay.
It touches on the fight between, you know, I feel like as an African American female,
That's us.
we sometimes get a little bit upset or treat gay males differently, especially when they're
Oh.
African
Okay.
American
Yeah,
men,
because you don't. Okay, go ahead.
because there's a lack of men in the
Yeah.
Black community, and
Yes.
you know, I
And you
I
don't
met a
expect
wonderful,
that.
huh?
You don't expect that.
Right.
I remember as. Go ahead, but I remember something.
No. What were you gonna?
I remember that. To me, you don't expect to see an African man being a gay African American man. To me, I just don't see it. And as a child and a teenager growing up, if I saw it, I didn't know that's what it, you know, I didn't know that's who they were, you know, because community at that time was so, I won't say distant, but it was like, it's hush hush, we don't
Right.
talk about that, or they were ostracized, so you never knew.
And that's what the book touches on, all of that. It touches on, you know, it touches on the things that people are very
Closed mouth.
afraid to touch on.
Yes.
And I have a
Oh,
feeling
you
when
really,
it's released.
you really wrote this book.
Oh, yes, I did. And it's, you know, I think nowadays, you know, we need to talk about these issues
Mhm.
because if we don't talk about them, they will continue to happen.
Yes.
You know, and I also speak from, you know, being able to see how that male might feel. And how, you know, watching from the, I can't feel what he feels.
Of course
I'm not
not.
him.
But you can
But
see.
I can see what I see.
Exactly.
And talk about that.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I see how, you know, people, you know when someone's nervous or uncomfortable. Right. So it talks on that a lot. And it talks on a number of different issues. You know, it talks about, you know, women and all the obstacles they go through.
Okay.
You know, and, you know, how there are sometimes this divide between, you know, white women and black women.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, how we, you know, are pushing for some of the same goals a lot of the time. So just trying to close that gap and trying to, you know, identify the issues, talk about them first,
Right.
and then, you know, see what we can do from there on in.
Okay.
So it's a very well-rounded book.
Yes.
But
I
it
can see
also
that.
Picks a little bit.
Woo, she said picks a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then you wonder, how does writing a book and being a vocalist, how does all that come together?
Yes.
It's like, wow. You know,
Grace of God.
Yeah,
Grace
absolutely.
of God.
Very much got to have a lot of that.
That it has to be in there.
It sure does. I'm going to stop because there's something that you and I talked about earlier when I saw you put that dress on. Let's talk about that dress.
All right.
I love that dress.
I do too. I do as well.
Tell us how you got to have this dress, because you and I talked about that. So I want my audience to know how she got this dress that I love immensely.
So thank you, first of all. I have a really great group of friends around me right now.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's priceless.
Oh, absolutely.
And it beats the alternative.
Yes, don't it now?
But one of my very good friends, actually, you know, he would make a wonderful, you know, guy long term. Ladies, if you're ever, you know, I can hook you up if you're interested.
Oh, Lord, she's trying to give him away.
But,
she's trying to give him away.
He doesn't want to have children. So,
oh, well, see, yeah.
So, ladies, if you don't want to have kids,
you're
call
good.
me.
You're good.
But he has an incredible design eye.
I can stop. I'm looking.
When he sees stuff, as far as designing, like fashion, incredible eye. He once picked out this outfit for me, and I went on set to do a commercial for NG.
You've done commercials?
Yeah, I was doing that commercial for a company that works under National Geographic. Nobody watches National Geographic.
I love National Geographic.
I do too.
I love National. That's my favorite.
That is my favorite. Me and my father watch it all
the
time.
All the time. Me too.
But I thought, okay, I'm dibbing and dabbing in corporate America, and I'm dibbing and dabbing in art.
Yes, you are.
And
a little here and a little there.
Right. It's a thin line. I don't want to not get a corporate opportunity
because
I'm over here
doing
playing roles.
See what I'm saying? Oh my goodness.
So I said, with them, at least I'm safe, right?
That's
Only the really smart ones will know.
Yeah. There you go. But then, when you think about it, we might not be so safe now. So we got to work on that other stuff.
Well,
you know,
we'll
talk. That's
they don't
coming.
happen.
Yes, it will. So let's talk about how did you?
So he picked out this outfit, and the directors on the set, which is the biggest compliment I've ever received in my life, they changed the set instead of changing my outfit.
They changed the set.
They changed the set
instead of
changing my outfit.
Now that's
if you can believe
that's on what?
I thought
I have never ever heard of anything like that.
I had never heard of anything like that.
They changed the set instead of your outfit.
And it's not like I went and asked for it. This just happened. This was just energy.
You're right. You're right. Very, very positive.
Right.
And very focused energy.
And very perfectionistic, if you ask me, because, you know, they did that.
They were the ones in charge.
That made that decision.
Yes. So this is how.
So this is how he picks things out, which is.
So he picked this out for you.
Huge benefactor of it.
Oh my gosh!
I have to send another shout out to my one of my best friends, B. She knows who she is. She's just really supportive and helps me keep going, you know. But she's
That's a
she's
good
a
thing.
real friend who also tells me when it's time to slow down.
Oh, yeah.
And you can have friends that tell you all buttery, flowery things all
yes.
the time, but your real friends will also tell you when
Because,
it's not so buttery.
yeah, oh, yeah, I have one like that.
Yeah, those are important.
Well,
It's
I have a
important to
number
have
of, I have 3 of them, but I have one that's amazing. You know, she calls me every morning, she calls me every night. And what happened last night, and what did you not do or do? so, so I understand, you know, and you
Yeah.
know, you need to stop doing that because you know better.
Right.
Yeah, so I get it. You know,
Yeah.
I sincerely get it.
They're important.
They are, aren't they? You know, they're sometimes we have very important people in our lives,
We do.
you know.
We do.
And sometimes, even though we have family, and we always know that family is very important,
It is.
sometimes we have those important people that are outside our family,
Right.
and they're close too, and, you know,
Yeah.
they want us to do the right thing, and they want us to do what's right for us,
I
and
think-
what's beneficial for us.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I get that. Let's go back to your singing,
Okay.
you know, because I want to know. I know you do gospel, and you do. Do you do hip hop too?
I do. I do everything. I write everything.
Oh, you write everything.
Yes.
Have you ever written a jazz tune?
I have.
You have?
I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and songs, not if not thousands. But you know, it's a long road. Like
Oh, I know it is.
in order for you to make it that way by yourself, you know, I wanted to start a record label, and I said,
Yes.
"Oh, there's no record labels in Boston." I got a name. I picked out a name and everything for it. And then I spoke with an attorney about starting a record label.
And what did they tell you?
$20,000.
Help.
And I was like, oh, this
I guess
this
we're
will
not doing
not be
that.
happening today.
I don't think that's happening today. What?
Yes,
20,000?
20,000.
Can't do that right at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't think
Can
so.
we wait about another 20 years? Can we do it then? Wow.
Well, so I told you I'm quite the strategic.
Yes, you are. So what did you do?
So I also ran into the same problem when it came to producing films. I did have the honor of studying directing at Harvard University, just the class.
You
Not a
studied
degree.
directing at Harvard University?
I did. I do.
Okay, I hope you're listening. And the person that I'm talking about knows who I mean. I hope you're listening. Okay.
And I had one of the very best professors in the world, if you ask me.
Oh, wow.
Like, the thing about Harvard is they have
I'm not too sure about
found
that.
a
Go
way.
ahead.
So I'm going to touch on both.
Okay.
They have found a way to tunnel all of these incredibly very educated, highly smart professors and individuals into the same place.
Really?
And the synergy that is birthed from that is outstanding.
What?
You are not going to find a better synergy. I think towards the end of the class, we were literally finishing each other's songs. Like
songs
we
and
were sentences, or you know, like
Are
we
you
would
serious?
start singing a song, and right when one would cut out, the
The
other one would
come
start.
in.
It was.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
that's
It was like that.
definitely. That is definite synergy. That really is.
Right. You know when the.
Yep. Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
So I, you know, and I had this fondness for directing. I don't know what was the attraction. I just thought I could put. I thought I was a very good storyteller, and I already knew how to write. So I said, okay, maybe if I can make it come to life on screen, I should learn all these things. And Harvard doesn't have to teach you anything. They fully teach you everything.
They fully teach you everything.
So they were like, okay, have your film here on Friday or die.
Okay. Have it here on Friday or die.
So,
Ooh,
you know, it
no.
was at the time when I was going through it, I was, you know, a little bit like rebellious, and you know, you never want to stick your hand in the blender
cookie jar?
or
No,
the
you don't
cookie
wanna
jar
do
or
that.
whatever you want.
Because you don't know what's in that cookie jar besides the cookie.
Right. But they did birth something out of me that, you know, was like very, very targeted at being as good as I could be,
Yes.
and being on time, and
Yep.
being, you know, putting my best foot forward on another level. You know,
Oh, yes.
the gifts came from God.
Right.
My gifts come from God, and there's no compromise on that.
I hear you.
but they
I hear
helped
you.
me perfect my gifts. They
There you go.
required a perfection.
Perfection.
Right.
Yep, they require. I understand that.
Yes. So,
Wow.
you know, and yes, there was some racism that I faced up there. That those stories are true, but I feel like that kind of thing, sometimes it only makes you stronger.
Yeah. And that's what it does. It does make you stronger because you're saying you're not going to.
I'm not going to give
You're
up.
not going to give up. You're not going to fall into this. So whatever
Right.
they say,
Yeah.
you know.
It's kind of like, you know, growing up, my mother didn't give us everything, you know.
My
and
mom
this
didn't
is,
either.
This is a great comparison because you have, on one spectrum, you have people who are stuck in a pattern where, you know, like maybe they receive some kind of assistance and they're
Yes.
stuck in that pattern.
Forever.
Their whole goal is to pass that assistance
It's
down
on
to the
their
next
next-
generation.
And you don't
Right.
want to do that. I don't.
And
We
then-
didn't.
Right. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have people who are given everything they want.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
their whole goal is,
Yes, dear.
I don't have to work
Work
for this,
for
it's going to
anything.
be given on to me.
That's true.
I'm more of the middle class. Like, my mother didn't give us everything.
No, my mother didn't give us everything.
She said
either.
no sometimes.
Of course. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, you know. And sometimes parents have to say no.
Right.
You know, you don't, I mean, you may not want to do it all the time, but sometimes, because in order for us, if we say no, then it, you know, it allows the child to realize, well, mom said no, so how do I get this
Without
without
the no.
No.
Well, with the no.
with the no, but also realizing why did mom or dad say no?
Right.
There's a reason behind that no.
And
And if
sometimes you don't know that reason.
No, you don't.
And
you absolutely do not.
Yeah, and I really respect the kids that sometimes they don't know the reason, but they
Yes.
follow the instructions anyways.
Anyway,
You can't have that cake. All right, I'm not going to eat the cake because, you know, she said no.
No.
It's kind of like, did you see The Lion King? You got to see The Lion King. Simba and Mufasa all over again.
well, it's like this.
I loved it.
I want to see the new one that's coming out.
That's
but
the one I saw.
You saw it
And
already?
I loved it.
Oh, no.
It was like a flashback from my younger years. I
I
loved it.
want to see that.
You have to see it. It was a really great reminder.
Yes.
It still makes you want to watch the old one.
Yes.
So I think they were very respectful of the original,
Original.
which is important. But they, it definitely touches on the fundamental teachings that the first one did as well. You know,
Okay.
when
I
your
wanna
father
see
tells
that.
you not to do something, listen
Thank
to
you.
him.
Listen to him.
You know, you can't have that cake. Why? Why can't I have the cake? Don't ask the question.
Question,
Just
just
listen to what
know
he's
you-
saying. You don't know that there may be alcohol in the cake.
That's
or
right. You
something.
don't know.
Right. You have to just follow what your
What
father
you-
told
what
you
you've
to
been
do.
told you don't do that. You can't have it.
Right.
You know? Wow. You saw that already. I
I
want to
did.
see
I was dying to
it.
see it.
I really want
was
to
dying to
see
see
it.
Yeah. It was good. And it was a nice crowd. Like, a lot of my friends, they were like, oh, I don't want to go see a kid's movie because I'm going to look weird in the movie theater being, you know, an adult. So I, of course, brought someone with me because I couldn't be the only creepy adult in the movie.
The only creepy adult in the movie.
But when I got there, something beautiful happened. There were
There were a
all
whole
of
lot
us.
of adults in there. See what I mean?
So,
There are a lot of there are a lot of us up in here.
yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. And you know which one I've never seen
What?
that I want to see? The play, the musical.
Oh, I've never seen that one.
I've never
we should go
seen-
together.
It's coming in October.
Let's go.
I
Let's
wanna
do
see it.
I'm
I
dying to
want
see
to
it.
see it.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See? That you know, music,
Oh, yes, music.
art.
But getting back to art, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I'll deviate us all
No,
day.
that's all right, 'cause
It's
I
the
do it
artist
too.
in me. So I figured out, you know, after going to school and learning more about what I wanted to do, I figured out you need money to produce a film or make
Uh-oh.
a film. And I was like, but I don't have any money.
Oh, well, I
So-
can figure out how to make some.
Right.
And
So,
that's what you did.
yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, tell 'em what you did. I already know what you did. Don't tell them what you did.
So I did, you know, I thought, I've been selling real estate for years and
Like I
years and
said,
years.
tell them what you did.
And I said to myself, well, what's a way that I can make more money through doing something that I'm already doing?
Yes.
So I sure enough started a real estate company.
She did it. I know what she did, and that's what she did. She started a real estate company.
I did. And the great thing about my company is it also does research, because I feel like a lot of the times there were all these like studies that came out about this, that, and the third, and those companies really weren't familiar with how to research something or how to market something.
Okay.
So I relied on Harvard again. And they had,
Did Harvard say, "Oh no, here she comes again"?
I think somebody was back there programming stuff for me.
Can we just do this for her and get her out of here?
I'm sure that was happening too.
Oh my goodness. So she went back to Harvard.
But I saw this class that I was very interested in. It was right after the other one.
Oh.
And I think 3 years in advance. so I was like, okay, let me do that as well. And I learned so much, and I learned some very wonderful things, And the instructor who actually taught that class is a minority instructor.
Okay.
So they are doing their thing with that. But, it was wonderful to, it was another like highly active course. I had to think outside the box. I had to, learn things very quickly. I had to put it into action and execute. And those were all life skills.
Yeah.
No, I will never unlearn that,
Oh no, you wouldn't. Wow. So how long was that? How long was that?
It was just a
long was that?
semester because I did
was
not do Harvard for a degree. Hats
hope
off to you,
not.
those who do.
Because we know all about Harvard.
Well, they do have some very smart individuals up
Oh
there.
yes, they do.
And a lot of money.
Amen to that.
so,
They sure do.
so, I think for those who can afford it, it's definitely beneficial. And, they do do a very good job at delivering on what they promise to
Very
deliver.
good. Have you ever been, since we're talking about Harvard a little bit, and before we go on our next space of time, have you ever been to the, what is it? The
African American Center?
William Monroe Charter Institute over there?
I have not. I've visited a few of Henry Louis Gates' classes.
Have you done? Oh,
Oh yes, I think he is definitely a shining image in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
I remember back in the days when he's done a ton of research.
Yes.
So it just makes sense for me to
gravitate towards it.
read or read up on. I don't per se know him personally, but
No, I hear.
when I hear of events going on or something, I definitely support them. I really like, not too long ago, they had a whole, they have an annual event. I forget the name of it, but they brought everyone. Like Dave Chappelle was here, and
I think I remember that.
Culber Patch was, am I saying his name right?
Chappelle, but we're going to need to. We've talked so much. We're going to need to wrap up, honey.
I know.
We're going to need to wrap. And anyway, you've got to do your little
I have
stuff
to.
for. Yes, you do.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to take a break, and we're going to get ready for Ms. Michelle Varone.
Thank you.
She's going to give us some goodies. And I hope everybody just stays tuned to their television set.
Thank you. My name is Michele Barone, and I am joined here with the wonderful Miles Robinson. And we are going to sing a song for you that is called A Higher Place.